This is Kwesi from Farm Smarter. And if you like the content that you have been receiving so far, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And put your comments below, and we will try as best as possible to get back to you in the comment section. Yes, so today we're just giving you this kind of heads up in terms of looking at how do you start your farm. All right. And if you see I'm looking down for a moment, is that I have a little checklist. And but roughly, I'm just going to give you roughly in terms of what do you need to know when you want to start your farm. You see, starting your farm, the first thing you need to do is you need to get aware about your environmental conditions, right? Your climatic conditions in your area, right? What crops and livestock are available that you can access the primary material from as well. All right. So the first things you want to know of the area is in the area, what type of area it is, you know, what kinds of plants grow in these areas, what kind of deficiencies for produce or demands they might have in the area. So you might want to have an idea as to what is wanting in the markets, right? What is wanting in the communities? What is wanting in your family? What you may be able to produce. Now, the next thing you have to consider is you have to consider your situation. If you are able to be on the farm consistently, 24/7, like if you are able to go to work at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, if you are able to stay right through the day on the farm, or if it is a case that you want to begin and you want to transition out of the 9 to 5, what is your situation? So then now your production system that you're going to employ should be in line with your system, unless you have the financial capital to actually pay people and manage them in a way to get your project underway. So you want to start a farm. So what do? You want to have an idea of the area, right? You want to maybe even get some sort of locational data, like GPS locational data, which will help you to build up a map. All right. So when you do a map of your area, you want to kind of utilize that map to be able to do a layout of your area. And that layout of your area is basically a schematic or drawing that gives you the demarcation of your land, the border of the land, and where what you want to put will go. All right. So you can do little circles where you want to put what, and maybe find out about the suitability of what you want to put for the areas that you have selected. Okay. So that is a sort of kind of land use plan for your farm. All right. So you look at these areas, and what could help you guide you is that there are some guides when it comes to land use, the best possible land use for the area depending on your soil depth and the slope of the area, as well as the vegetation and the potential of the area, you know, to support any enterprise you want to put, especially if it's an enterprise that is an ecosystem enterprise, an enterprise that is an extensive enterprise which you are going to be employing in the environment or establishing with the interaction of the environment. If it is a more automated or more protective, on the protective end, which is more intensive, would require more initial capital setup. Okay, so that is some things that you have to bear in mind. So this here will help you to try to start to know what you can do with your area. Now in these areas you have demarcated, what you want to now look at is probably collecting some soil samples, some water samples, and getting climate data for the area. All right. So the soil samples will help you. You could be able to either test the soil on your own, or you could send it to a designated laboratory, which will give you an analysis of your soil. And fundamentally, this analysis of your soil would have the amount of nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and sulfur, NPK, Ca, Mg, which is in your soil. And that is very important, especially if you're going to be producing crops, if you're going to be producing pastures for your livestock. It's very important if you're going to be planting trees in an agroforestry setup or permaculture setup. It is very important that you know your area meets the requirements for the plant species that you're going to put into your system. All right? Okay, so how do you start a farm? You start by getting this knowledge. All right, you start by in your area itself to refine your land tenure arrangements as well. Okay, so when you refine your land tenure arrangements, that means that you make sure that you have some level of ownership on the land, whether it is that you own it, you actually purchase the land, whether it is that you have some sort of lease agreement with the land that is suitable for the system that you're going to employ. All right, so you make sure that your land tenure situation is well refined and well organized and clear, and it is legally certified. All right, so once you have your land tenure, now you do your land use map of what is going where, and you find out the potential in the various areas by collecting samples, soil samples, water samples, climate, and this will guide you on your way forward. So basically, you want to build a knowledge base of your resource. That is the best way to go. Now, in real life, when you have this area, you just want to get in and start clearing and doing something, which is nothing is wrong with that, right? So you could begin like that. You could begin like we said in a previous video with this one enterprise or these two enterprises that you investing in, and you're investing in it for a reason, because maybe in terms of your work hours, your workload, you're not able to make it and be as consistent for other more intensive enterprises. It could be something in terms of maybe you don't have conditions for storage or harvesting afterwards, so you need crops that can facilitate that kind of lifestyle. Probably you don't want to sell your crops at any time. You want to sell your crops at a time when you could get the highest prices for the crops, which you could work it into your production plan. But in essence, what you want to do is a crop that can be stored a while without highly specialized conditions. All right, so you may want to start with something like that, something that is more suitable to the environment, something that can promise a return in short time. So it can be like a low hanging fruit, you know, that you pick in, and this low hanging fruit will kind of inspire you to continue along. But whilst you are doing that, as being a pragmatic approach, you also work in the back end, as what we are now speaking about, getting the tenure issues resolved, getting the necessary land use mapping, getting an idea of what you want to do with your area, which now will help you to plan for further use and further development of your resource.